Hey, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. While I'm waiting to get these speed bumps resolved, this is as good a time as any just to be talking. We need to do that more, preferably with each other. Videos might not be the best conveying, way to convey all of this stuff. I don't know who I can talk to personally. I mean, face-to-face is always the best, but if you wait for that, you're not going to have any luck. And sometimes you can't talk to the people you want to talk to, or you think you can talk to, or you're not sure who you can talk to. This day and age, I'm not sure if I say something, someone else is going to misread that and take it the wrong way, or be very, very ready for a fight. And what would be a normal minor disagreement is right out of the gate, fighting words. So you hold your tongue and you don't say anything to somebody. I just want to look at videos and talk about movies and television shows and maybe some other media. Yeah, I hope this doesn't necessarily, I hope this doesn't push anybody off to think, just another one of these. See you later, pal. I don't want to, I'd love to have a conversation with people, but I think generally the watchword today is, and has been for a while, sit down. Sit your ass down. Sit your ass down and read. Or sit your ass down and wait until there is something to read. I used to work in news broadcasting. I was in radio, and I worked for, later on I worked for a news team. I worked for a news outfit, wrote and produced news, did some voiceovers for news packages. So I've seen news. I know what goes along with it. I took journalism classes. I know what you do. I know you got to run with the story that you got, but generally on a news program, you identify what you do know, and essentially you give what's the Dragnet guy? Jack Webb was the actor who played the character. Jeez, I can't believe I don't remember the guy's name. Anyway, it's just the facts. You give just the facts. And you remember that you may not have all the facts. Are these facts verified? No, I don't like the gatekeeper idea. I don't like the gatekeeper philosophy of news. I understand it. I know why it's there, how we got there. But I also know that it's got its own flaws. There's some advantages to it, obviously. And there's some disadvantages to the just anybody else can do this shit. But I try and teach anyone who I know is younger, my son, other young relatives. Hold on. Do we know what you're saying? Do we know that? How do we know that? Are we sure? Are you making a guess? State that you're making a guess. I'm not saying you can't make guesses. Go ahead and make a guess. Speculate, but treat it as speculation. And why do you speculate that? Otherwise, you're going to get in trouble. Unfortunately, trouble these days involves a rock through your window and your house burned down and your car overturned. Hopefully you're not in either your house or your car, or in front of your window, or behind your window. There's a lot of how dare you. I've heard in the extended ring of my family tree, there are some how dare yous going around. Oh, good Lord. Oh. Yeah, we're there. We're at a point right now where we are witch hunting. Yeah, I'm sure it sounds like virtue signaling, because I don't do that sort of thing. We're all capable of it, so we all have to watch ourselves. You got to watch out. Be cautious not to engage in a witch hunt. Because down that road, madness lies. You'll have a big problem. I can't believe that somebody I know says this, did this. I can't believe somebody in my family does this, said this, thinks this way. I can't believe somebody in this day and age, in 2020, in this state, in this city, whatever. Well, then evidently you don't have a good imagination, because human nature is capable of a lot of thought, a lot of opinions, a lot of ideas, and saying things about these opinions that might not be tested or might not have been put into practice, or you might not be capable of understanding how they're able to be put into practice. It's not really useful to say, I can't believe that my own neighbor, coworker, relative, whatever it is, I can't believe my own whatever would say such a thing. Well, let's actually find out what that person said. What did that person say? Did they say what you're saying they said? Yeah, I remember there was a time on Facebook where I was interacting with a gal I went to high school with who, irreverent humor, so in that respect I got along with her after high school. We weren't in the same circle in high school. Truth be told, she was kind of a bitch. But certainly at times that would be negative, and then at times that would be kind of positive. Hey, I like somebody with a strong back and is willing to say something. Generally when they turn on you, though, I don't mean turned on you, but if I asked questions, I was apparently splitting hairs. No, I just like to be clear. I've been misconstrued before. I don't want to be. I don't want to be misconstrued. I don't want to be misinterpreted. I sure as hell don't want to be misrepresented. And that's happened. And I've been misrepresented with ill intent before by people who have engaged in a witch hunt. One quite recently, within the last few months, a relative. Another was, 6, 8, 10, 12 years ago, 14 years ago. Probably 12 years ago. I don't really know anymore. Person's dead now. I don't say that because I'm Italian and I put the person 6 feet under. No, that doesn't happen. Certainly not with me. No, this person had ill health, poor health, and reoccurring poor health. But they went on a crusade. This guy went on a crusade and he put me in his crosshairs and wanted to make a public spectacle of it, either to make himself look good or to do something good before he left this earth. Well, I don't think he did anything good before he left this earth. I think he made himself miserable. Not only that, he misrepresented me and I think slandered me. And in print, it libeled me. And I take a pretty dim view of that. Now, was the guy out of his tree because his life expectancy had changed radically and he had adjusted accordingly to do something good in this world? Yeah, I suppose. But boy, did he miss the mark. Earlier this year, there's a person I know. I know this family, and this is this family I know. There's a member of the family, a younger member of the family, who evidently is very strong-willed. However, when there's evidence to the contrary, and when you're getting bad-mouthed for one reason or the other and they don't say anything, you kind of wonder. When you're getting tarred and feathered publicly online, which happens everywhere, but no defense is forthcoming. Well, you know me your whole life, kid. You're using weasel words to kind of say, well, I'm not really engaging a witch hunt. And you're not defending me. Well, some of that's just the weak-willed thing, and maybe you don't want the mob to turn on you. I can understand that. But it is disheartening to see somebody who you think knows you their whole life. You see them grow up, and you're not gonna, what? You're not in my corner, I see. Okay, well, so be it. A relative of mine, clearly not in my corner. I found this out a couple months ago, around the same time. You're not in my corner. Okay. In fact, this relative of mine had urged somebody who we mutually knew, who was kind of at the center of one of these riots. It's in their territory. So you can understand frightening and frustrating and hair-raising. You're worried not for just your own safety and sanity, but that of your neighbors. Good Lord, what could happen? Frightening. So this person wanted to go on a crusade and hunt down evildoers. And this relative of mine had, behind the scenes, said, yeah, why don't you go check out the big mouth. If you hear of or see anything that he has publicly said or published, you should go after him. All right, hey, for evil doing? Now, you kind of you hear, oh, this is somebody who knows you, somebody who's related to you, your whole life. This kid, you've known this other kid, her all her life. Well, they must know something then. Oh, God. In this day and age, people have gone unhinged, and they are willing to look. The phrase I like to use, cliche, the phrase I like to use is, these people are worksmen, or craftsmen. And all they have is a hammer, so everything they see looks like a nail. They hate stupidity, and they hunt it down, and they see it everywhere. They never see it in front of themselves, though. And I certainly don't say that as one of the people who, I'm not stupid. Good Lord. How many mistakes have I made? How many miscalculations have I made? Even in areas that I would have been smart enough and educated enough or experienced enough or, well-versed enough that I wouldn't make such a mistake. Well, of course, human nature, yeah. The main problem with this subject, and like every other subject, customer service or business or politics or medicine or doctors or supply chain analytics or sports or education. The trouble with that is people. And once we can get people out of the equation, it's all going to work perfectly. It's not a recommendation. Please. People start thinking how we can remove people from the situation. You start wondering how they think the removal will work. Generally a bad idea. But yeah, so you get people that claim to know you or think they know you, but they certainly don't talk to you, and they think it's beyond the pale to actually engage with you. So they reinforce their idea about how evil you are, especially at a time when they want there to be somebody evil so that they can cast them out. If only we could exorcise the evil spirits, we'll be okay. If only we could exile the evildoer, the traitor, the town would be safe. How'd that work out for the witch hunt trials? How'd that work out? People will mention communism. I was watching Twilight Zone the other day. I saved some space on my shelf by getting the full collection. I had individual discs which were an episode here or there. I saved by buying some things I already had. I was able to save space. Yeah, I'll put down the money for that anyway, so I got to get through all these episodes because I ought to watch all of them. There's a lot of things I haven't seen. One in particular, over the past week, I saw something called 4 O'Clock. This guy with the big Coke bottle glasses looking 2 inches from his pages, either that he clipped out for newspapers or wrote down from whatever research he had done, he was sure he was finding evildoers, and he would call people up that were connected to these evildoers, their bosses or supervisors or the head of a committee who was somewhat involved with this group that person was, however it went. Do you realize that this person is of low moral character? Do you realize this person is a communist? I assure you this person is a communist. These are facts. They are not to be disputed. What are you going to do about it? So this is what this person was. So, of course, in the 60s, in Twilight Zone, they take a dim view of people looking for communists. It's almost a joke. Oh, if he's looking for communists, he must be not only wrong, maybe evil, probably evil, but also ridiculous, comically dumb. Well, there were. There were communists back there, but a witch hunt was not the way to go about it. That wasn't helpful. So I start watching this, and I didn't take 60 seconds to see how relevant this was to today. 4 O'Clock, an interesting episode of The Twilight Zone. This guy, and I mean, it gets weirder than just, a guy who's hunting down evil. Generally, when you see somebody who is a crusader against evil, you got to wonder, how is your evil detector? Yeah, you know what? I'm very virtuous. I oppose bad things. I've always wondered about that. Well, yeah, we've got a real problem with bad guys. Okay, bad guys, huh? So you're going to justify hunting down and going after the evildoers. How's your evildoer detector? You don't have spidey sense. Your name isn't Peter Parker. The batteries on your evildoer detector run down ever? Are you using it enough so that maybe one of them's flat? How are the settings? Did you calibrate it recently? I don't trust your evildoer detector. I really don't. Especially when you see so much of it everywhere. I got friends of mine. Smart people. Good people. They're concerned about the evildoers. Okay, where are these evildoers? Is it just happens to be that they're opposite of your political, social beliefs? Well, that's convenient. Okay, all right, gotcha. What do you want to do about it? I mean, first of all, if you want to shut them up, I'd like to know wherever the evildoers are. One, I don't know if I can trust your judgment. If I can hear what they say, I might have an opinion about it. I might be able to add some context for myself. I might be able to find out, yeah, that does sound pretty bad. It might be somebody that I know and I can ask a question directly. I can do that journalistic behavior. Or maybe it doesn't involve something close to my neighborhood, so maybe I'm not so biased. But you want to do what with these people? You want to shut them up, or you want to attack them? Just out of the gate, just want to go from 0 to 60 in 2 seconds? That's a pretty hot engine. So, okay, you want to go and attack somebody, like if they're beating somebody up? No. You mean when they're not beating somebody up? Okay. Uh, w- that makes it a lot harder to prove that you got an evildoer there. Yes, I don't want to go and wait for somebody to shoot somebody else. Ah, yes, must be an evildoer. Don't want to wait for somebody to do that in cold blood. Yeah, I agree. But there's a certain you have to wait for evidence. You really do. And you can't attribute everything said to evil doing and evil thoughts and evil activities. Let it be for a little bit. Let's face it. If a lot of these people will take care of themselves, they'll sink their own ship. If they truly are, they'll sink their own ship. That happens a lot. That's what you want. You want to know where they are. You want to know who associates with them. Not so you can go and round them up like a vigilance committee and run them out on a rail. We don't do that these days. There's a lot of people that run people off of Twitter these days and cancel them. Obviously, cancel culture is a problem. It's if you think it's a good idea, then maybe you're part of the problem. And I'm using the word maybe. It's not that I don't want to be wrong. Well, okay, I don't want to be wrong. Not simply for my reputation. I don't want to be wrong because actions have consequences. Words mean things, and actions have consequences. It's good to know what the consequences are, and it's kind of good to avoid some consequences. I don't think it's anything out genius level that it's coming out of my mouth right now. I'm certainly not, oh boy, am I creaking my chair? This needs some WD-40. I'd really like all of us to remain calm. It's hard to do. Really hard to do. Especially with some guy talking on and on and on for 22 minutes. That's enough to drive anyone crazy. I should leave it there. Probably should have left it there 10 minutes ago. If you made it this far, congratulations. You got good patience. Or it's been running off in the background and you haven't really paid too much attention to it and you got to the end. Congratulations. That's very kind of you. You get the Lollapalooza coupon, and not that you're going to find abridgments anywhere, but does anybody know what a Lollapalooza actually is? Not a concert, and does anybody know what abridgments is anymore? Well, regardless, I hope even if you didn't get this far, I hope you're safe. I hope you're healthy, and I hope everyone is doing well, maintaining their sanity, having good spirits, good sense of humor, not jumping off of cliffs, and not pushing anybody else off of cliffs. Is that just too obvious of a thing to say? I guess it is. You folks sleep well, do well, and thanks for tuning in. You take care. We'll talk to you next time.